VR isn't anything new. In fact, consumer products have been around since the mid-90s. It's only more recently that these devices have become more practical, and software developers have actually started to make truly immersive games for consumers to play. Over the coming years, VR is going to become increasingly important, not just as a device for consuming entertainment content and gaming, but with education, commerce, and even business. The only thing that promises to bring all of this together is the Metaverse, and the race is on to build it. Today I'm going to be looking at a project called Netvrk, but before I do, please know that none of this is meant as financial advice. I'm just a dude talking about stuff I find interesting, and no, I've not been paid by the team, it's all just my personal opinion. So it's spelt Netvrk to emphasize the VR aspects of this metaverse, but I'm going to be pronouncing it Netvrk so as to avoid sounding a little too Germanic. Oh, Netvrk. Netvrk is a social virtual world built on the blockchain that allows users to make and monetize their own creations. The first and probably most obvious aspect to talk about is the graphics used in Netvrk. Unlike competing metaverse platforms that adopt a more blocky and simple look, Netvrk uses the Unreal 4 game engine, the same engine that AAA games like Fortnite use. And they're going to transition to Unreal Engine 5 as soon as it's out. This project isn't a recent venture either. It's been in the works going back to 2016 when the founder started work using a prototype version of some VR goggles he developed 5 years previously. What a gigachad. And Netvrk know that if their version of the metaverse is going to be a success, they need to break down some barriers to entry. Netvrk promised that creating your own games and building your own buildings and experiences is going to be super easy using their VR editor and tools, likening the process to playing games such as SimCity and Minecraft. Another barrier to entry is owning one of these things, a VR headset. And Netvrk have thought about this too. They plan on making the platform accessible via desktop on release, and mobile and non-gaming rigs will be an option too, and will operate via streaming from the cloud, eliminating the need to have like a powerful graphics card. Let's get into the metaverse. Okay, before we get started, you should know that Netvrk does have a token, a coin, Netvrk, and it is currently sitting around about $2, hit a high of about $7 around about that time where Facebook announced that they were changing their name to Meta, which just absolutely pumped anything to do with the metaverse. We're not going to be talking about the coin today, although it is an important part of the ecosystem and will be going forward. What we're concentrating on today is the NFTs, mainly the land associated with Netvrk, as this has just been released. As we can see here, CNBC reporting just yesterday, the metaverse real estate sales top $500 million and are projected to double this year. So this is a real area of growth within an already booming NFT market. When we talk about metaverse real estate, what we're really talking about is an NFT associating ownership over a digital asset. So some of the key takeaways in this is that it states here that the big four, so we're talking about Sandbox, Decentraland, Crypto Voxels and Somnium, are considered the big four players of the metaverse at the moment. But will it stay like that? So let's take a look at Netvrk and why it appeals to me over some of these other metaverse plays at the moment. So the Netvrk Genesis Islands are the core of the Netvrk multiverse, and minting has already happened on these. They are available now on OpenSea, and we'll have a look at those in a sec. Now, it might be that your idea of going to the metaverse is to just unwind, play some games, chill out, not think about anything else. But the nature of blockchain and the nature of NFTs, and especially with this Netvrk ecosystem, is that you've also got the ability to make money within it. So this, as outlined here in this white paper, you can buy or sell, I'd imagine, assets. I read somewhere that you can scan in items and create them and then sell them through your own marketplace within the metaverse. You can also, as we're mostly going to have a look at in this episode, buy land, sell land. But it's not as simple as that. You can also rent land out or take a share of any profits that occur on that land. So loads of ways that you can buy into this real estate, either to flip it or to think a bit more long term and try and make some sort of passive income from it. There's also advertising. So network tokens can be used to buy advertising space, and that might be on your land. So if you've got a particular piece of land where there's a lot of traffic, a lot of footfall, you might be able to place an advertising billboard and then rent that space out without, again, having to sell the actual asset, your land, in order to do that. So here's a little bit more in the white paper with what you can do with land. You can straight up trade it, right? You can just sell it. So permanent ownership transfer. So you can give the full rights and revenue sharing of the virtual real estate. So it doesn't just depend on where your land is, but it could also depend on what is built on your land. So if you've got a fun game or something interesting, something that is already generating a revenue, you may well be able to sell your land and the things on it for more than you would if it was just empty. Another thing is limited time free use for revenue share. So many users on the platform like to play games, but they don't necessarily want to have to buy into a whole asset, a piece of land, which could be very expensive. So you could therefore just rent out some land to build something in exchange for giving a cut of any revenue that is made back to the owner. You could also sell it with limited ownership. So if you had a nice piece of land in a really nice area, you could rent this out to someone for a limited amount of time, and then maybe in the future look to increase the amount that you're charging for this piece of land. So if Nike want to rent my bit of the metaverse, I can say, yeah, sure, no problem. 20 quid a month. And then let them get established, build a really nice shop. And then as soon as the time ends, I can really hike that price up. So all sorts of ways you can make money. All in all, it's not just as simple as straight buy the land and sell the land. Now, we always take things that are created by a project, comparing themselves to other projects with a grain of salt. You know, they never are going to paint themselves in a particularly bad light. But here we can see what Netvrk say that they can do compared to some of the other competitors out here. So you've got Sandbox and Decentraland, which are really, in my eyes at least, the main competitors. And they say they can do everything and more. And the thing that really stands out from this is something that I touched on in the intro, is that these guys are really big on the ability for a user to create their own assets and their own games. So at the bottom there, you can see multi-purpose sandbox. Everybody else says no. They say yes. And a multi-purpose sandbox allows users with no skills in design or computer sort of coding skills the ability to try and create something themselves. So that's where I think they're really going to have the edge on the competition. As far as everything else, you know, these are all sorts of features that can be introduced by competitors or improved upon. But having a really solid foundational toolbox for people to use, I think that's going to be the big thing that might tempt people either to first start using the Metaverse in the first place and building on it, or even transferring over from some of these competitors over to Netvrk. But you know, it's still yet to be seen. And this is the Genesis Islands. So this is the Netvrk world. And I like this. Again, compared to some of the other competitors where it's all kind of blocky, this looks like it could be a real place with different kind of mountainous regions and volcanic regions and green sort of wetland areas and a big city in the middle. Now, this is all split up between the entertainment district, the creative district, education, business, and the adult business. I don't know what goes on there. So if you're looking to buy land and you fall within a certain category or think you will do in the future, then you might be looking at getting land within one of these areas over something else, which again, I don't think that is happening in other Metaverse projects. I think it's a cool feature. Okay, let's jump into OpenSea. And this is what Netvrk land looks like. We've currently got a floor price of 0.79. There are 8.8 thousand items in the collection at the moment, but I do know that this is going to be 15,000 items when all of the land has been minted or claimed by people that have gone into pre-sales, or that the rest is sort of auctioned off over time. Now, there are different sized lands, as we can have a look. If we scroll down, And then go down to size. We've got standard, medium, large, giant, and mega. So if I click on standard, and let's increase the size here, you can see that it's a very small plot of land. And I really like the way that these NFTs give you an accurate sort of view of what this bit of land looks like. It's kind of like being on Google Maps, like you're on Zoopla or Rightmove having a look for a new home. See if the schools are good in the area, what the crime rate's like. So the floor at the moment, 295 items for sale. The floor is 0.79. If we go on to medium, we've currently got 295 items for sale. No, 217 items for sale. 1.2 Ethereum in total. And then if we go to large, we're looking at a floor price of 2.5. The giant is a floor price of 5.79. And then the mega, of which there are only 252, with 25 available for sale. The megas are 17.2 Ethereum, so quite a range there, but a lot to choose from. Netvrk also have other OpenSea items out there. One of them is the Netvrk bonuses. Now, I think this could be a really good play. There's only 2,000 of them, 1.7 thousand available at the moment, 2,000 in total. There's a good split, so 1.1 thousand owners, floor price of 0.619. Now, it really depends on how well this game or what sort of mechanics evolve around the game as to how valuable these are. But essentially, these NFTs allow you unlimited daily resources to build things in this metaverse. So this could be a really good play. If this metaverse takes off and you have unlimited resources to build whatever you want within it, these could be really, really valuable one day. So I'm going to look at picking up one or two of these just in case I feel like building something in the future. You've also got some Netvrk avatars that you can buy. So these are sort of like the original ones that have come out with the launch of the game. And having these original ones might be useful in the future, might allow you to sort of access different parts of the world further down the line. It's hard to say at the moment. But I'm sure as well you're going to be able to use avatars from outside of Netvrk, stuff that Netvrk hasn't used. Maybe your favorite profile picture is creating a 3D rigged avatar of some kind. Looking at you, Fox fam. But yeah, so avatars, those are another sort of NFT relatable object that will be available in the game. And you've also got a way to get around the metaverse. So here we go. If you've ever wanted to own a yacht, but you haven't got yacht money, well, you can pick up this bullet yacht for 17.49 Ethereum. $46,000? I don't know if I'd spend that on a virtual yacht, but who knows? This could be worth a lot of money one day or nothing one day. It's really hard to tell. But this is all speculative plays. And I mean, if I was going to play this game, as I said, I'd be looking at picking up one of these bonus packs because we don't know how expensive it is going to be in the future to build stuff. I mean, you could even become a metaverse builder with one of these things and go around building stuff for people. Who knows? But I think the real play is buying up land while it's cheap. Netvrk really seems under the radar at the moment. They launched after the big news about Facebook. They have been building for so long. There were quite a few delays with the minting of the land. And nobody really seems to be talking about it at the moment. But I think that against some of its competitors, it's got so much going for it. And if it can get some traction, if it can get some people moving over to it, I think that having land in Netvrk could be a really, really good play. Another thing that really makes me bullish on this project is the sheer number of partnerships that these guys seem to be releasing and announcing every single day. It's just like you go through their Medium articles to try and find some sort of core news, and it is filled with partnership after partnership after partnership. I mean, if you go on their website, you can get an idea of just how many people they're partnered with and are wanting to do something on this metaverse. So another really bullish signal for me. I like to see this. So I'm definitely going to be picking up some more land, and I'm going to be really particular about what land I get and what position it is, in what area it is. And I did some calculations looking at some of the competition and where the floor prices are for those. So if we have a look at the Sandbox, we've got a floor price of 3.78 with total land items of 125k. So huge amount compared to the 15k that will be on Network. If you have a look at Decentraland, again, one of those big four they were talking about in the CNBC article, you've got 97,000 parcels of land, only 6.6k owners, and a floor price of 4.75, which is that's a lot. That is a lot of money if you consider how many items there are. So I did some quick maths. I know that this isn't the most accurate way in the world to get like a kind of price prediction of where Network could be in sort of like the coming months and possibly years. But you know, using sort of any data point is going to be useful to get a rough kind of idea. And it shows me just how undervalued I think Network is at the moment. So if you take Sandbox and you take the 3.78 floor, the 125k items, you times them together, you get 393,120 Ethereum. Now that is the floor price. If the floor price was applied to every single piece of land within this metaverse, you would get that amount. So if you take that 393,000 odd Ethereum and you divide that by the 15,000 land parcels that will be in Network, you get a price of 26 Ethereum. So that is the possible potential floor for Network if they hit the same sort of user base and notoriety and status as Sandbox. If we do the same thing with Decentraland, if we take Decentraland, 4.75 Ethereum, around 97,000 pieces of land, times them together, 460,750. I have written this down. I'm not just doing this in my head. And then you divide that by the 15,000, which is the Network land. That would equal 31 Ethereum per land as a floor price for standard land. That's pretty insane. And we're talking about, at the moment, Network land is currently sitting at 0.79. So yes, it is risky. All of this is a big risk. There's no saying how well Network will do. But I love that they've got a lot of partnerships. I love that they've been working on this for a very long time. I love that they're going to be transferring to Unreal Engine 5 and everybody else seems to be stuck in the past when it comes to graphics. There's a lot that I've got my eye on here, and who knows? It could do well, it could not. Obviously, you do you. Make sure you do your own research, do your own investigations, come to your own conclusions, because I haven't got a crystal ball. I don't know what's going to happen in the future with this, but it's something that I'm going to be keeping my eye on. If you liked today's video, then make sure that you hit that subscribe button so I can keep you up to date with stuff like this in the future. Also, if you're into Network, give that like button a little tickle, because the more it gets tickled, the more YouTube picks up that algorithm and pumps it out to everybody else. All right, thanks for your time today. Keep safe out there.